So, dah masuk ke?
Hello, Izian.
Hello, sir.
Okay, how many in the room right now?
Mini
How many participants?
26.
Okay, 26.
Sorry,
Let's wait.
sir, for the delay.
Okay, no problem.
Alright.
So I think let's just wait for 1 or 2 minutes and see whether we have more people coming in. There should be 30 plus, right, in your class? 38.
Yes,
Yeah.
38, I think.
Okay. So when it reaches 30, you can start. I see in my screen Nur Aisha. Are you presenting also, Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I see Nur Alia. You also the presenter?
Yes, sir.
And Siti Nur Zulaikha. I saw her just now, but now she's gone.
She's presenting too, sir.
Okay. Okay, now it's clearer. Yeah, the connection is not that good. I see some of the places is like going in circles, connecting. Okay, so now how many participants? Okay, 30 already.
Okay, I will start, sir.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to each one of you for being here. Thank you for being here with us. Today, our group will present about agenda setting. Okay, so we all know that mass communication is important and agenda setting theory is under mass communication. Okay, next. But first, let us discover what is agenda setting theory. Agenda setting theory is a theory in mass communication stating that the media has the ability to determine which issues are important to the public. Okay, so that means the media choose the issues to be the focus of their public attention, and they didn't tell you what to think, but they tell you what issues you should think more about. Okay, can you understand? You get me? Can you hear? Okay. Okay. So, the history. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the history of agenda setting theory. Walter Lippmann has written about the agenda setting theory in 1922, but it was formally developed by Dr. Maxwell Malcolm and Dr. Donald Shaw in 1972. Um, they they developed this term based on a study of US presidential election actually. And then Metcalfe later included the concept framing into the theory. Okay, our friend Najat will explain about framing after this. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so these two handsome men here are Dr. Maxwell Metcalfe and Dr. Donald Shaw. Okay, next. Okay, so the core assumption. The agenda setting theory rests on two basic assumptions. First, media and the press filter and shape reality rather than reflect it. Okay, that means news media story, news media stories are not presented chronologically or according to the people affected by them, but rather it in order of what the producer or the editor determines it to be the most appealing to the audience. And second is the more media and the press focus on the issue, the more important the issue becomes towards the public. Okay, as I said before, media doesn't give us the issue to, I'm sorry, the media didn't tell us how to think or how to feel about the particular issue, but they give us the issues that people must think more about. Can you understand that? Is it lagging? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the core assumption of agenda setting theory. Okay, I will pass it to next presenter.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to Sir Hisham and also fellow classmates. My name is Yaiza Najat binti Muhammad Farid Ushidi with metric number 0505881. Okay, so you guys have listened to the first presenter about agenda setting theory. Okay, so let's look at the levels of agenda setting. There are two levels, first level and also second level. First level, media focuses on the amount of media coverage, which is concerned of about the project at the current that is hot at the moment to influence what people should think about. For example, if you read a newspaper, the front page of the newspaper encourage us as a viewer that the news are on the front page is the most important views other than the other next pages of the newspapers. Okay, the second level, or sometimes defined as framing, media decide what part of the subject are important, focus on how the media discusses this issue and also on how people will understand about the issue. So, okay, framing, why is framing and how does it work? Framing in 1988, the agenda setting was expanded to include framing. It refers to the way media organize and present information and the way audience interpret the information. In short, media provide an environment in a focus that shape our understanding about the events. And they do this in several different ways. They do this by words of that they use, metaphor, the kind of spin they put on the story, the storytelling devices that they use. Any kind of narrative elements can contribute to how the story is framed. Okay, these are the strength and weakness of framing. Strength is an issue can be highlighted to emphasize a certain event. Framing can create a large impact on the people's acceptance of a particular meaning of a message. Negative framing create a large impact on the people since the media is play an important role in audience understanding of any issue. And the weakness is biased media can negatively frame an issue that can influence a large group of people. The media is a powerful tool, but anyway, so the content must be framed with values and as it influence and control the audience. Okay, let's look at the example. These two newspaper clip about to tell the same thing about COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, let's look at the first picture. Why I say there's contain a negative frame? Because at first you look at the headline, many loved ones will die, and we read this headline. The words die contain of negative that we influence the viewer who read this will think of such a feeling of afraid and scared of the issue, and also the visual of the man who's thinking and pondering is also influence the viewers how to think. Okay, and the next picture, together we can save many lives. It contains a positive frame. The headline itself can create a positive frame because as we read it, we still have hope. We have ways to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. The issue of these two newspaper are the same thing. They are going to say about the COVID-19 pandemic, but the way they use of the word, they spin the story, they frame the story is we influence the viewer who read it. For the first picture, the viewer will interpret it as a very serious issue and they have to take action to this. And the second, a viewer will need to take the action too, but at the same time, it gives hopes to others too. Instead of scaring people, about the headlines in the first picture, many loved one will die. The second picture contain more positive frame. Okay, next example is to show the weakness of framing. As biased media can influence a large group of people. Let's take a look at this picture. The first picture, there are a white people, and the second picture, a black young man. These are the coverage of Hurricane Katrina in the New Orleans. They're about this the newspaper. Then these news are going to say the same thing about how the survival of Hurricane Katrina survive. They make it how the way they making to stay alive. For the white people, they use the word finding food like they were surviving the tragedy. But meanwhile, the second picture contain a visual of a black young man. A young man walks through Chad's deep flood water after looting a grocery store in New Orleans. They use the word of looting, which is stealing food, to take advantage of they use the black people were described as stealing their food like they were taking advantage of the tragedy to get free food. And instead, but they use word finding for the white people to show how they survive. You know, these news are meant to say the same thing, how the people survive. But the story, the use of word they use, this how this spin the story can frame is how the story is framed can influence how people will think about the news. Okay, understand? Okay, next we go to the three types of agenda setting. There are media agenda, which is issue discussed in the media you choose through newspaper, television, or radio. Next, public agenda, discussing issues that are personally relevant to members of the public. Some people, uh, some people like to watch entertainment. Some people like to watch sport, and others like to watch about healthy and lifestyle. They every different people different need of for orientation. Okay, next policy agenda, which is gatekeepers set the agenda for audience. For example, COVID-19 pandemic or any national issue that can attract viewers to know about the current issue. So that is from me. So let's continue to the next presenter.
Okay, good morning everyone. I'm Alia and we shall continue with three parts process of agenda setting. Okay, so as Najat has said before, there are three types of agenda setting, right? There are media agenda, public agenda, and policy agenda. So, according to Everett Rogers and Najat, okay. According to Everett Rogers and James Deering, there are three processes of agenda setting. The first one is media agenda is set. Next, media agenda creates public agenda. And then public agenda creates policy agenda. That's right. Okay, for step one, the media agenda is set. In setting media agenda, you need to see what is included and who is included. So, in media, what is included? Of course, it includes stories and articles that are broadcasted or printed in various media outlets. For example, your Instagram feed, or maybe your daily news subscription, right? And who is included? Since media are a part of people, those people are including advertisers, political leaders, and also popular figures. For example, do you all know durian kimchi? Does anyone know durian kimchi?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Or maybe BTS, the famous one, right? Okay, next slide. According to Stephen D. Rees, there are four types of relationship between media and source. Okay, so this relationship occurs in setting media agenda. There are high power source and high power medium, high power source and low power medium, low power source and high power medium, and also low power source and low power medium. Okay, for the first one, for the first one, high power source and high power medium, media and their sources may agree or disagree on what the media agenda should be. Since both sides, both source and medium has high power, they have their own agenda, right? They have their own opinion of what the media should be. So for example, your city's mayor and a local television station. Let's say our former Prime Minister, Datuk Najib Razak, is being interviewed by TV3. So TV3 has its own agenda of talking about Datuk Najib Razak, and Datuk Najib Razak has his own agenda to explain to TV3. Okay, next. The second relationship is high power source and low power medium. In this case, source uses medium. So for example, President of United States communicating with a local newspaper. Let's say Joe Biden came to Malaysia and then he was being interviewed by TV3. But then in the news, what would come out? Of course, it would talk about Joe Biden, right? It wouldn't talk about TV3. Okay, so the next one. Next one is low power source and high power medium. In this case, medium sets its own agenda and minimizes the voices of others. For example, a news story on your local television station about a small community activist group. To have a clearer example, let's say I, as a university student, was being interviewed by TV3. But then TV3 would set their own agenda, not about, they won't accept my agenda because I'm a mere university student, right? Okay, next. The last relationship is low power source and low power medium. In this situation, events of the day control the media agenda. The relationship between a small community activist group and local college newspaper is often determined by what happens in the community, not by persuasive power of either party. This means that since both sides are of low power, they have no control of the media agenda. They do not set the media agenda, but instead the community sets it. For example, nowadays we are amidst a pandemic, right? So in the media agenda would mostly talk about coronavirus or maybe the flood nowadays, right? It wouldn't talk about the source or the medium. So the next one is, okay, this is step 2 of agenda setting process, which is the media agenda creates public agenda. Since we've talked about media agenda, so it's time to talk about public agenda. In these two agendas, there are 3 different relationships that may exist between media agenda and public agenda. And this will explained by the next presenter. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alia Manasara. Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so now I'll be explaining on the step 2, which is media agenda will create public agenda. Okay, next. Okay, so there are 3 relationships between media and public agenda. So first, public may already have the same agenda as media. For example, public and the media share the same level of importance of the agenda. And then the second one, public may hold different agenda than media, which is, for example, to media, religion and politics, they place as the main agenda. They place their high level of importance on that agenda. But to the public, they want to know more about the crime the social issues. So they hold different agenda. And then the third one, media are effective at setting the public agenda. For example, through the media use big headings or the repetitive issues. So here it can set the public agenda. Next. Okay, so public agenda. So as the name is public, right? So it focuses on the audience. So in public agenda, the issues discussed personally relevant to the members of the public. So the higher the level of interest and uncertainty produced, the higher the levels of need for orientation. Okay, for example, nowadays we heard about the news about Dang Inside, right? About the sexual assault. So for someone who really likes Dang Inside, of course they want to know more about the news. They think whether it is true or not. So they will find uh, uh, many many news about Dang Inside through Facebook or television. That's what I mean by the needs of orientation. Next, obtrusive issue. There are two kinds of issues that is published by the media, which is obtrusive issues and unobtrusive issues. So, obtrusive issues is the issues that most member of the public have direct contact with it. For example, high gas price means this issue is near to the public. For example, Selangor water crisis, or maybe the latest one is COVID-19 issue. And then unobtrusive issues is the issues that most members have direct experience with it. So it become more distant to the public. For example, like political scandal, or maybe genocide, because that issue is we not experience it, so it become more distant. So we do not place more attention to the issue compared to obtrusive issues. Next. Okay. Can you see the slide, guys?
Yes.
I cannot. Okay. Okay, now I'll be explaining on the step 3, which is the creation of policy agenda. So if the media have established the public's agenda, then the leaders enact the media's agenda, minimizing the voice of the public in determining policy. Okay, I give you a scenario. Okay, you as a reporter. So one day a police call you, said there is an accident happened here. So you go there because you want to get more information about the accident, right? So you take note about all of the information, and then you give the information to your chief editor, and the chief editor will take the info that he considered important to be published in the news. Not however, not all the info that you give to him he will take. He just will take the info that he consider important to the public. Next. So in policy agenda, it's basically the talk about the control over the selection of content discussed in the media. So, as I said before, the chief editor is the gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper here is the one who set the agenda for the audience. The gatekeeper is here act as a filter. So basically, every channel has its own ethics and policies. So if the news is against their policy, they will not publish it. So the issues that they will publish is the issue that policy makers consider important. Next. Okay, these are the examples of news item: Texas bullfighting, international terror issues, UN discussions, religious abuse on international community. So I want to ask you guys, if you are the chief editor, which of these news item that you would choose to publish? Anyone?
Religious abuse or international community, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Zuli. Okay, next. Okay, so this is the selected and also discarded. Okay, so the selected news item is international terror issues and UN discussion, while discarded news item is Texas bullfighting and religious abuse on international community. So why? Because for international terror issues and UN discussion, it is a universal common news. So everyone want to know about that. And it also will not affect the channel reputation in public and organizations policy. And also, for example, like COVID-19, everyone wants to know about COVID-19 because it affect all the country. So everyone was affected by COVID-19. And the discarded news item is Texas bullfighting and religious abuse on international community. So yeah, there are some media who cover religious abuse, but we rarely see it happen, right? And for Texas bullfighting, it is discarded because it is not internationally popular story. Not everyone want to know about the Texas bullfighting. Much more important news than that. And for the religious abuse, it may hurt the audience directly and may also affect organizations' policy. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, hi, it's me again. Okay, so let's recap together. So, agenda setting theory refers to how the media's news coverage determines which issues become the focus of public attention. And framing, which is a concept in agenda setting theory, refers to the way media organize and present information in the way audience interpret the information. So, agenda setting has three types, which are, can someone tell me? Is there someone want to tell me? What is that? Okay, it's okay. Agenda setting has three types, which are media agenda, public agenda, and policy agenda. And agenda setting is a three-part process, which are first, the media agenda is set, second, the media agenda creates the public agenda, and the third, creation of policy agenda. Okay, that's all from us.
Okay, that is the end of our presentation. Do you guys have any question?
Me. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Fatim, very clear.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I have two questions. One for Najat and one for Zulaika.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the first one is I want to ask Najat's opinion. Is it okay for a media practitioner to use the bad framing words in the news article? Because I think when based on your explanation also that if the media practitioner use the bad framing words, it will create more speculation and issues to the audience. Okay, that's for Najat. And then second one for Zulaika. If like just now Texas bullfighting and religious abuse on international community, if the issue happen in certain country, like for example in United States, and then is it the chief editor should discard the issue because the topic because it is not internationally concerned, but it is concerned in United States. So, what is your opinion on that? Thank you.
Okay, Fatin, the question was what my opinion if PR practitioner use the negative framing?
No, media practitioner
Use
like the bad framing.
okay. Okay, as I said before, the framing is to influence how the viewer will interpret or the viewer will understand about the issue. There are bad and good framing. As I said, for the example of the white and black people, it is content of negative frame, and it is a must for PR practitioner to avoid using negative frame because it will cause sensitivity and also will confuse others about what they want to say about the issue is the in my opinion, PR practitioners should avoid this negative framing at all costs. Framing is also influence us in making a decision. I give you an example. Okay, example. Can you see? Alamak, mirror. This is the
Yes,
example
yes.
of yogurt. Yogurt. Okay, yogurt. There's two brand of yogurt. The first brand contain of 20% fat free. Okay, and the next one is 80% fat. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. What do you get from this example? This actually, both yogurts have the same content of fat. Just the way the use of words, there is 80% fat and there is 20% fat free, which is the brand A actually contain of 80% fat too, isn't it?
Yes, true.
It will influence the viewer, the reader, or the public about the issue that they want to convey with the use of the use word that they use. Okay, am I answer your question?
Yes, I clearly understand now.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Shukran.
Okay, thank you, Fatin. Can you repeat the question again for my part?
Okay. Just now on the example on religious abuse on international community and Texas bullfighting, if this issue is happening in United States, so uh, do the chief editor discard the news item because it is not considered as internationally issue? Do you understand? I mean, like it's happening in that area, but because it is not internationally issue, so they would just discard the news item.
Okay, I understand. For me, it's basically based on the chief editor. What if he consider the news is important for the for the audience in United States to know, like Texas bullfighting and also religious abuse, it is important for the public on that area to know, then he will publish it. But if he thinks that it is not important, then he will not publish it. Do you understand?
So the chief editor should not consider whether the issue will be international or on that certain area, right? It should
Yes.
consider the importance to the audience.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fatih, for the question. I hope there is no other question because we are going to play Kahoot first. Okay? Yay! Congratulations! Yay! Thank you. Congrats! Thank you guys for participate. Okay, we still got around 50 minutes. The, in 5 minutes, the meeting will end in 5 minutes. Sir?
Okay, Izian, can I say something? Okay, yeah, agenda setting is very, very interesting because it happens to us almost every day, right?
Yes.
And whether we realize it or not,
To
agenda is
experience
being
it.
set. Yes. Like today, coronavirus, we see every day. And how long has it been going?
Very bad. People have a
Almost
lot
one.
of thought about COVID-19.
Yeah, and I think most of you trying to forget it, right?
Sorry?
Can I see hands? Can I see hands? Those who are no longer thinking about COVID-19 and just want to forget about it. Can I see hands? Or you're still thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
So, Izian, where are you from?
Kelantan. Kota Baru, Kelantan.
Oh, okay, Kelantan, you just were under PKPB again, right? Okay. Terengganu, we are free, Alhamdulillah. Terengganu no more PKPB. However, okay, this agenda, I just want to, you all think, I told it to the other group. Why do you think the media is playing this COVID-19 a lot? Why is
because
that?
it
Hmm.
because it's the hot issue most people are talking about it. And also is the issue that show concern by a lot of people. It's a national issue.
Okay. However, do you know how many people have died due to the coronavirus in Malaysia?
Yes.
What's the percentage? What's the percentage?
Our statistics.
How many percent of the COVID-19 people who have got the virus, got the disease, died? Yeah, that's my question. How many percent? Anybody can answer?
Around almost 3,000, I think.
No. Siti No, Zulaikha?
I'm not sure,
Just
but
give a
I
guess.
think
How many percent?
All percent.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really keep up with it recently because it really scared me so much, especially when I knew about the Kelantan is in PKP and stuff. I don't really. I know it's important news, but me myself, I'm scared about it. So that's
Okay.
why I don't see the statistic and all.
Okay. I want to give you another fact. In Malaysia, out of all those who have contracted the disease, only 0.6% have died. How many percent? Aisha, can you explain to her? 0.6.
I cannot hear you.
Zulaikha?
I think if you tell
Okay, okay. Let it be clear. Okay. Now you have an exam, right? In your exam, for your paper, you get the mark 80%. You can do all that. 80%. 80%. Your marks for your exam. Good, right? 80% is an A, right? However, if your marks is just 1%, is it good or bad? 1 out of 100. Meaning it's almost close to 0, right? Your marks. I'm talking about your marks now. So the number of people who have died due to coronavirus is just 0.6, meaning very, very small. And if we compare with the number of people who die due to other cases, right? Cases like accidents, road accidents. I think we get people dying of road accidents every day. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
So which is more dangerous? Road accidents or coronavirus?
Or accident.
And people who die from heart disease, diabetes, stress, you know, there are lots more. How come the media is highlighting COVID-19 when the number of people who die is very small? And I think all of you know that recently in Uniza, there was a case. In Uniza, there was one of our staff who got COVID-19 positive. But in the end, it didn't affect anyone. So we're all now safe in Uniza. So notice, you can get the disease, but it does not affect you fatality. Okay? And of course, there are people who die, but normally people who die are those who have a chronic disease.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, like all of you, you are young, you are still healthy, your age is 20 and above, okay? Normally, young people, they will get the disease, but they will become better too, all right? So you are all healthy enough to fight over the virus. It will not affect you. So notice, nowadays, all over the world, people are talking about the COVID-19. The number of deaths is very small. So there must be an agenda. I'm trying to make you think now. What do you think is behind all this not controversy, this sensationalizing of the issue? There must be another reason. What do you think?
Sir, are you telling that the percentage that we aware of might be wrong?
No, I'm telling you the facts shows COVID-19 is not that deadly. It's not that serious. Okay.
In Malaysia?
However, we are very, very scared of it. You look at the mosque. People are afraid to go to the mosque, even to churches and other big gatherings, right? Yeah, when the number is only 0.6% those who have died, and the majority have recovered from the disease. So that goes to show we should be worried of other things other than COVID-19. Okay? But, okay, we're talking about agenda setting, but the media has set the agenda every day. Oh, this number of cases, like you showed just now, the number 80% fat, 20% fat free, was it? Right? So now they show the numbers in terms of cases 1,000 in Sabah, 2,000 in Sabah, and all over Malaysia, right? So you look at that figure, you're afraid. But they don't highlight the fatality rate. And I think I asked just now in the Telegram group, cases of suicide due to COVID-19 in Malaysia. So Zulaikha has checked number of suicide. I think, 266. If you look in the Telegram,
266.
yeah. So imagine people have died not due to COVID but due to suicide. So it has created other problems. Notice? Like you guys, you cannot go to class, right? You are having sort of, what can I say, mental distress, right? You cannot go out. Normally you can go to class, you can have presentations, not like this online, and yeah, nobody likes it, right? So many other quote unquote diseases are affecting us due to COVID-19, not COVID-19 only, right? And you look at the number of jobs, people have lost their jobs, no food, and now with the floods, we have to cope with both COVID and the floods. Okay, so what do you think is behind all this? Now, recently, I think people are getting a bit more happier because of a new finding. Do you know what was found recently in 1 or 2 weeks back?
Vaccine.
Okay, so people are a bit happy now, right?
Yeah.
So we like to be injected tomorrow if I give you vaccine?
No, actually, sir, I don't know how to tell about COVID-19 cases because
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure, but there's some article that says about the vaccine. We took around 2 to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, to produce a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
So the COVID-19 cases happen in
1 year now.
almost a year, right? So the article said that it could be it's not the real vaccine.
Uh-huh.
So people are not encouraged to inject the vaccine.
Okay. Okay, can you look for the article and share with us in the group?
Okay, all right.
Okay, I like this point. So, why do you think mantis people are competing to produce the vaccine as soon as possible? Notice we have Russia, right? Do you know the name of the Russian vaccine? Who knows?
Pfizer, isn't it, sir?
No, from Russia. Okay, I'll give you 10 ringgit. Those who can answer, anyone in the class. Hurry up. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No takers?
Sir, the Sputnik 5, sir.
Nice. Who was it?
Me, sir. Hafizi Rasidi.
Hafizi, okay. But you got it after the 5 seconds. I'll just give you 5 ringgit. Okay?
No, sir. My connection is lagging, sir.
Okay. So, Sputnik, all right? Sputnik or Sputnik, Sputnik. Russia got 1. America got 2. UK has 1 so far that I know of. I think China, I don't know how many they have, but from which country has Malaysia bought the vaccine? Anyone knows?
Sorry, I think it's China.
China. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, it's still vague. Yeah, but I think it's not from America, but from China, we also don't know what kind of vaccine they're producing, right? Okay, whatever the case, my point is, can you imagine one vaccine? Can you assume, just guess how many ringgit it costs, one vaccine?
Doesn't the estimated amount almost 80 ringgit above?
80 ringgit. Okay, let's say we use 80, right? Just make it 100 to make it easier to get it. 100 per vaccine. How many is the population of Malaysia? 30 plus, right? 30 million plus. So 30 million times 100. How many zeros you have there, right? That's a lot. Only one country. And if you go to other countries, Indonesia, many people, India, Europe, Africa, all over the world, we have 7 billion plus people, right? So can you imagine the profit that this vaccine producer can make just by selling their vaccine? So I'm just giving you a theory. Yeah, people are thinking about, like you said, how come so fast they produce the vaccine, etc. So perhaps all this promotion about COVID-19 is to make us fear COVID-19, and later on when the vaccine comes, everybody is willing to be vaccinated, right? So maybe this is the agenda. Maybe, okay, I'm just saying maybe, I'm not saying it is, but the facts show many people have survived the COVID-19 after attracting it. I think all of you know Trump got the COVID-19 recently, right? Donald Trump. And is he alive and well today? Yes. I think after only a few days, he became well again. And even the Prime Minister of England also, although he's quite old, right? So notice how the media is playing, hyping the issue to make all of us afraid, when actually the percentage of people dying is very, very low. I'm not saying people do not die, but the percentage is very low. And normally those who die are those who already have a disease, not healthy people like you. Okay? A very, very small number of people who are young like you have died. So that goes to show how big this agenda setting is. And I think it has really, really been successful to, to frighten us all. But since all of you are, you are university students, you should be thinking more beyond what is being fed to us. As you said, they want us to think on what issues that they set. Okay, we should be thinking about those which are really important to us, right? We don't want to know about the bullfighting in Texas, right? No, Zulaikha? And we don't want to know about the death in America. Even in America, they don't wear masks, right? And in Sweden, okay, another thing that I would all of you to Google, Sweden, how do they approach the lockdown? And I don't think much has been covered in the mainstream media. Sweden, they don't impose any lockdown at all. Have you heard of this before? Noraisha, have you heard about Sweden? No. Okay. So please Google Sweden lockdown. They do not do any lockdown. And South Korea, they have very, I think, minimal or no lockdown at all. And even in Wuhan, China, are they imposing lockdown in Wuhan? No longer, right? The place where supposedly COVID-19 originated.
Sir, Brunei
Yes.
too.
Brunei,
The
no
total
longer.
of deaths is 3 only. 3 only.
Brunei 3 only.
150
So the percentage will be,
cases. 150
oh, okay, yeah.
cases only.
Okay, very small. So notice, it's all about numbers. I think Zulaikha, it's all about numbers. Yeah, in the previous chat. So agenda setting is very, very important. The media has a very big role, and we as students of media, students of communication, students of language, we should really decipher what is being sent to us. Don't just swallow it blindly, all right? We have to really think about, reflect on the numbers, reflect about the things behind it, and that's it. And how can your voice be heard? Okay, I'll give you another one. I think I give it to the other group. Please Google this in the chat room. I'm writing. Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy. He's against vaccines, and he is against all this lockdown and mask, whatever. And he thinks it's also an agenda set by we don't know who to make us all afraid. Robert Kennedy, he's from America. He is the nephew of the killed President John F. Kennedy, the former president of America. So we don't hear his voice because it is not part of the mainstream agenda, right? So yeah, that's why I think many people, I think even you guys, you don't believe in the mainstream media nowadays, right? I think most of your generation prefer to get your sources from social media, your friends, right? Rather than newspapers, TV, etc. Because as we studied, they create what we are supposed to think. And sometimes what they create is not even important to us, right? So you want to say something, any of the presenters before we end? Yeah, one last.
So I have question for you.
Okay.
For your view of for your point of view, do you
Mhm.
think COVID-19 is just agenda? It's not a real case. Should we concern about?
Okay, as I said, it is there. Coronavirus is there. However, the degree of seriousness should not be that alarming to us, as I said, according to the statistics.
So not really. So you are not really afraid of it.
Of course, I do take care of myself, right? I have to do all those SOPs. However, I think regulations, I think it's too much. Schools have to close, whereas in some countries it's still open. Dr. Razwan, did he teach you guys Razwan from FBK?
No.
England. Because are still open. The units are still open to a certain extent, not like in Malaysia. And RPT, you see that there are still children. SPM, taking SPM this year, it has been postponed. And imagine the toll on the consciousness that SPM students. And we saw the number of suicide people, 266 in Malaysia, right? Those were reported. We don't want more suicide cases due to the lockdown and stress, whatever. So the facts are there. Only, we have to really evaluate them and don't get it out of proportion, right? I think, okay, before I end, I want all of you to think the PKPB on Terengganu, where else? What? I think, and a few other states recently. There were only about 20 cases in Terengganu, but we were forced to do PKPB. And now in Kelantan, right, Izian? Only due to 15 cases, right? But the whole state has to be under lockdown. PKPB, I mean.
Precaution step.
However, it wasn't the case before. It wasn't. It was only recently. Because I still remember the DG, Dr. Shamsuddin mentioned, there is one mechanism. He said, we just go to the places which are affected, not to the whole area, because we want to preserve the economy, etc. So can you imagine, I'm living in Kuala Terengganu, and then Dungun has 15 cases. So in Terengganu, we have to do the PKPB, Kuala Terengganu. whereas Dungun is far, far away, and all the the schools have to be shut down because of Dungun, right? So why not just concentrate on Dungun rather than the whole of Terengganu? I'm giving a real life example. And yeah, in Selangor, let's say in a few factories in Kelang, whatever, just close that area, not the whole of Selangor. Can you imagine what happens to the lives of people living in flats, in condominiums, right? Yeah, the other factors will affect them. It might not only suicide, you see the, what do you call it? In Malay, they call it keganasan rumah tangga, right? And I think even you guys, I'm not sure about you, but maybe your friends you know of, they're not too comfortable having classes online in their homes because it's not comfortable. Like maybe you have many rooms, you can stay in one room. Like I see you guys in a separate room, but what if you live in a flat with only 2 rooms, right? How can you study with your brother, sister everywhere in the flat, very small area, and then get line, etc. And I think you're familiar with the Viviana case in Sabah. She had to climb up the tree to get internet, right? So it's dangerous. I'm talking about the other factors. So yeah, it's good. I want to all of you to think beyond or outside the box. Don't just believe whatever you see on the mainstream media. Try to get other sources. And yeah, okay, maybe we can discuss this later on when you get more information. Yeah, we have one discussion. Is it really agenda setting? COVID-19, maybe you have this later, 2 or 3 weeks from now, because it's a real life case and it's happening to us now, 2020. And I hope 2020 will be a good year for you guys. For me, I've enjoyed 2020, really. How about you guys? You don't agree? Zulaikha, are you like this or like this? 2020 a good year or a bad year?
I think it's not really a good year for me
Okay.
because I prefer to study at ZAB.
Okay. Okay, I agree with you. I know your feelings. But we have to be clever. Make this as an opportunity to find other avenues in our lives. Okay. Of course, it's a new normal. We are not supposed to get used to it. However, find a way to make it a blessing in disguise. Okay. For my case, due to the fact that we have to do online classes and not going to office, I could do other stuff which I couldn't do previously. And during the first PKP in March, April, I started to walk around my neighborhood about 30 minutes every morning, which I couldn't do previously because I had to send my children to school, go to offices. So in a way, you get something else, right? But of course, you have to find it. In Malay, they call it di sebalik setiap sesuatu ada hikmahnya. So find the hikmah. Okay? Zulaikha, Alia, Aisyah, Izian, and the rest of you, which I cannot see your faces, find a blessing in disguise behind this COVID, and do not just believe whatever they feed you in the media. And I think we should have one discussion. I want to hear your thoughts about COVID-19. Is it really true and a big issue or not? And who is behind WHO? Who is behind the vaccine? And all the other conspiracy theories. I think you like those kind of things, right? You're smiling, Zulaikha. Okay, all right. So I think we shall end here. What's the time now? 12:38.
38.
Okay, sorry to take your time. Yeah, but we don't get chances to meet face to face. That's the issue. And I think all of you are new faces.
Huh?
Are any of you from TESOL before? Who's from TESOL? None. Oh, that's why I haven't seen you before. Hafizi, you are.
Hafizi.
Okay, but all three presenters, four, you're not from TESOL?
Me.
No, I'm from Metric.
Okay. First time I'm teaching you guys.
Nika is so
Sir,
Okay.
you teach me, sir.
Who? Zulaika.
Me. Ah,
When I saw you in TESOL.
diploma.
Okay, diploma. But the rest are not that familiar. All right. So yeah, I wish we could have more, face-to-face kind of interaction. But yeah. difficult. So should we continue with all these online presentations, or some why not do pre-recorded one, which is better?
I prefer
I'm okay both, but we can ask the presenter.
Yes. Yeah, I think better we make it live and it becomes more valuable, right? And you can ask directly. Because I know if we do a pre-recorded one, you won't watch it, right? The what do you call it? The enthusiasm is not there. But when it's live, okay, my friend is over there in Kelantan, in Pahang, in Kedah, in Johor. Okay, now she has prepared for me, so I have to really pay attention. All right. So I can't see the rest. I don't know whether they're hiding or they're sleeping or what. Hopefully they are attentive. So please go
I'm
back.
still here, sir.
Okay, good to hear. Fatin, right? All right.
too.
Okay. Okay, good to hear that, Nur Najiha.
Yes,
So please go back and do your studies on COVID-19. I think we should do a sort of seminar, okay? I asked a few from Group A, a few from Group B, you present your ideas on COVID-19. Those who are pro the mainstream media, those who are against the mainstream media, and we see what we can get from this sharing of ideas. And apply all these theories, agenda theory, one-shot model. And I think I showed you the van of Jabatan Penerangan the other day. Did I show you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's one-shot model. So it's everywhere, these theories of persuasion. Okay, I think I should stop talking and not take too much of your time. Again, have a nice day, and we'll meet again, inshallah, next week before the mid-semester break, inshallah. So we have a break sometime next week. I think it's going to affect one of your group presentations. Okay, see you guys. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, presenter.
Bye.
So,
Bye.
Bye.
Good job.
Thank you, presenters. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Presenters. Thank you,
Okay.
presenters.
Okay. Stay safe, everyone.
You too, sir.